Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anika Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I am here in Tabanan, and it's a place that I have visited before last year, and it's lovely to be here again. It's a part of Bali that I really do love. And of course, there's all parts of Bali that I love, and it's interesting today. My contemplation has been all about contentment because I've been very content in each space that I've stayed in. And it's interesting that whether I've been in Ubud, or I've been closer to the sea, or I've been here in Tabanan, I'm content. And contentment is a place that a lot of people would like to be content. And oftentimes people might be content for a moment and then think about other things that, oh, but this doesn't make me so happy. And it's been a very nice contemplative time and a day of reflection about contentment. So I thought I'd start with this quotation, and you might be able to hear some sweeping noises around me. And I've actually linked this now with Bali too, because there's so many trees and there's so many plants and there's so much growing in Bali. And the nice thing is that no matter where I go, people are sweeping up the leaves, because if they didn't, the next day there's going to be quite a big pile. So that's how quickly the turnover of the leaves is. And it's content. I'm content to hear it. I'm understanding that this is such a regular part of the life here. And so I thought I'd start with this quotation, and it says, "True contentment is not having everything, but in being satisfied with everything you have." True contentment is not having everything, but in being satisfied with everything you have. And this is interesting because I was thinking about how, in movie theaters, we're asked to turn off phones, or even in meetings, we can turn off our phones because we don't want people to get beeps or message pings or anything that might disturb a quiet meeting. Similarly, when we're meditating, oftentimes we think that, oh, you know what, I need a quiet space to do my meditation. I love meditation. And you can imagine that when I'm hearing sweeping, no matter where I go, there's always sweeping. And it's nice. And it's interesting that my mind just accepts it, that this is part of the busyness around me. And can I stay still within me? And I can. And for many people, in North America especially, I find that, or have found, that many need to be in a very particular environment, in a particular space to get into a good meditation. And though that's beautiful, and I definitely recommend that you have that experience if you can, more people than not will then use that as the excuse as to why not to do meditation in other times, because, oh, I don't have enough space in my home, or I don't have enough space in terms of people. There's always family around, there's always visitors around, and then there are people who are quite lonely, and it's like I can't quiet the mind enough to get into that quiet space. And all of these things, it's interesting to just watch, how does the mind think, and how do we experience this space. Now remember, true contentment is not in having everything. So having everything just right is not what creates true contentment. It's actually being satisfied with everything you have. So wherever you are, you're probably hearing the insect noises now around me. And this is interesting because, again, in Ontario, I have a very controlled environment. I have a very quiet space. It's very unusual to hear noise in my videos from Ontario. And here, it's actually more unusual to hear no noise in the background. And this is a good reminder of how connected we are with nature around us, if we choose to be. But that's also with our family around us, if they happen to be around. It's also with the space around us, if we are alone, the space within us. And this is contentment, to actually see that everything I have is right here. So then we don't make the excuses of why would I not meditate, or why would I not read something that I want to read, or why would I not learn about something that I want to learn about, because I choose not to make the space for it. And this is true for anything, any aspect of our lives, that we really know that, oh, this is something I really want. Like, I really want to meditate. I really like to meditate. I really like to be in this quiet space within. But that means that anything can be happening around me, and I can carry this space within, and that's contentment for me. So then the next quotation that I came across is on the similar line, because people might say, oh, you know what, I just can't, I'm not happy. And it's because this person did this, or it's because this happened on the subway, or this happened on my drive to work, or this is how the energy of my workplace is. And we look for things to blame, or I just had this experience in my relationship, with, whether it's, with family, or whether it's with a romantic relationship. And that's why I'm just not happy, because this has happened. Now, this is not to say I haven't been in those spaces, but I do know how much work I've done to pull out of those spaces, because recognizing that this contentment is within me does not, I'm going to say, allow me even to look for it outside of me. So you might think that, oh yeah, well, you're in Bali. It's true. And yet even in Bali, there's the same pressures around, that I'm energetically sensitive. So if someone is struggling with something around me, I feel it and I can sense it. Yet I choose to be in that content space and the happiness within. So this quotation says, happiness is your nature. It is not wrong to desire it. What is wrong is seeking it outside when it is inside. And this one is by Ramana Maharshi. And again, I'm going to read that again so you can understand this. I'll take it slow here. Happiness is your nature. Now remember, when we're thinking about your nature, this is your best self. It's your nature. It is not wrong to desire it. So let's say I recognize that I'm not happy. And any of us can be in that space at any time. And then we desire, I wish I was happy. Don't look for it outside of us. So someone who is going through a relationship concern, I'd be happy if I was in a good relationship. If someone is going through a family concern, I'd be happy if my family member was in a good space. So whether health-wise or whether how they speak with me, I'd be happy if that was happening. What's wrong is that we are looking for it outside. I'd be happy if I have my ideal job. I'd be happy if I'm living in my ideal environment. I'd be happy if I had all the money in the world. Yet all of that is outside of us. So when we're looking outside of us, that's not true happiness. That's not true contentment. That's momentary contentment. That's momentary happiness. And today I want to remind you that when we're seeking it outside, it's not quite right. It is inside. It is our own nature. So finally, I wanted to end with one more quotation, and this is through the Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita, as you know, again, in Bali, is a very important text. It's a very important text, just like Mahabharata is a very important text here. But I want you to hear this quotation and understand how it applies to us all, no matter which traditions we might have been brought up in, and no matter what kind of reading we might do. This understanding, I believe, can be understood by each of us that can reflect on this for just even 5 minutes after this video. This quotation says, he whose happiness is within, whose contentment is within, whose light is all within, that yogi, being one with Brahman, attains eternal freedom in divine consciousness. Eternal freedom in divine consciousness. Now, if we can again break this quotation apart a little bit, again, whose light is all within. So I've already said the happiness is within, whose contentment is within. So this is something we carry. It is our nature. Then we've got that yogi. And remember, yogi is that person who is in union with the divine. The union of the human self or the physical self with the divine self is a yogi. This is one being one with Brahman. Brahman is representing God or the universe, the oneness energy. When we are aligned with that, that attains that state, attains eternal freedom in divine consciousness. So remember, divine consciousness. Divine consciousness flows through each of us, yet all of our equipment, our own minds, our own bodies, our own life experiences have shaped our equipment. And the person who's in alignment with this Brahman or God or the universe is the one that is in that divine consciousness. It's that merging with the divine consciousness. It's that intention even to merge. And this is what meditation is about. This is what mindfulness practices allows one to be if one chooses to look at it from this perspective. But it's certainly what spirituality is quite about. This oneness with divine energy, which is who we are, is what a lot of people have forgotten in life. And I believe that this is what pulls people away from true contentment, because it becomes about ego-related searching for things outside of us. Today, I remind you to search for true contentment within. Recognize that as we do this, whether through meditation, whether through breathing exercises, whether through just how we speak with one another, this is us working towards alignment with that divine consciousness. I wish you a fantastic day ahead, merging with that divine consciousness, living it, speaking it, knowing it, being it. You are that. I wish you a fantastic day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.